That is right, ladies and gentlemen, the Datsun, otherwise known as the Datsun on this channel, has returned. Now, for any of you guys who have forgotten, or if you're new, this is my dad and I's project car. It is a 1967 Datsun 1600 Roadster with a Miata 1.8 liter and a Miata transmission swapped into it. Now, we bought this thing a year back. It was ugly, it wasn't running, but it did have the engine swap. We got the engine running, we got it driving, we made it exhaust, we got it pretty, we got it painted, we got a bunch of chrome stuff redone, we put the windshield in, and now it is time to finish it. We have every single part on this wall here needed to finish this car. It's all ready to go back together. We just have to do it. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on the wiring, the lighting, getting all the lights put in, and getting those working with the Datsun turn signal and all that kind of stuff. Now, we did do a couple things off camera that you guys didn't see. Most importantly, we swapped a Mishimoto Honda Civic radiator and a Mishimoto fan, replacing the stock radiator that was from the Datsun. We also did a couple of just super simple things. I put the wheels on the right direction because I had them on backwards. I got lug nuts that were actually meant for this stud pattern. It's a really weird stud pattern, 7/16 by 20. But we got that all sorted. We got the door handles in here. Ooh. Nothing like the sound of closing an old car door. I went ahead and mounted a awesome battery box, got that all sorted, and we drove it, and it's awesome. It drives fantastically. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get started on the lighting stuff. I've got a bunch of old lenses from a super old car that we have to restore and make pretty again. Then we can put those and the chrome back in, and we can start wiring everything up. And just a little public service announcement, Gingium merch is still available. This is the Rally Miata EMT. It's got the Rally Miata on back. It's got the new EM logo up front. We also have Gingium air fresheners and an awesome built sticker available. I'm gonna start with restoring these. They're actually in really good condition. The lenses are just a little faded. So we're gonna wet sand these and then re-clear coat them with a 2K clear coat. Well, thankfully I didn't spend too much time on that because it turns out my dad had bought brand new lenses. So let's throw these lenses on, start assembling the taillights. And with that, all of the lights on the Datsun are in. Now, believe it or not, that actually took 2 full days, okay, a day and a half of work. The lights they look simple, but they're old, so there's so many different little pieces to make them all go together. Each of those rear tail lights separates into like 7 different pieces. It's ridiculous. When we bought the car all disassembled, so we just kind of had to figure out how to reassemble everything by looking at it. It's like putting together Legos without instructions. It wasn't hard, it was just time consuming. Plus, since everything is old, the threads were all screwed up and we had to buy bolts for everything. So like, we're at Ace testing the bolts and you put a M4 in, and, oh, that's too small. All right, you put an M5 in, oh, that's too big, it's not going in right. So then you go to a standard size. Either way, the lights are in. Took a while, but the lights are in. Now is the fun part of making them work. Now, the first step was to go ahead and make the brake lights work. Strangely enough, however, the Datsun brake pedal does not have location for a brake switch. So I went ahead and fabbed up this little bracket that uses a Miata brake switch, welded it to the steering column, plugged it in, and nice! The next step was to go ahead and work on wiring in the relay box I was going to use to power the rest of the lights. I found a 12-volt source using the multimeter and soldered a wire going to that. I then had to figure out how the old Datsun switch worked, which wasn't too bad. And then I just started running the mess of wires. RIP Adventure Bus, let's hope your transmission repair isn't too expensive. The cool thing about this relay box is that everything is penned in and waterproof, so it's super, super legit. Took me a few minutes to get everything going, but here we are. Let's test to see if this relay works. Oh, needs a fuse, duh. The switch clicks so loudly you can't hear the relay, but it's working. I can hear it. I can put my ear next to it and and now, after a little bit more work, we click on the really old switch. I need to ground it just a second. Okay, maybe that'll work now. We now have running lights in the back and brake lights. Now that the rear running lights are working, I went ahead and started wiring up the front headlights and the front turning signal / running lights. Hey! First try, boy. Well, that means it's blinker time. The first step in making the turn signals work was figuring out how the old Datsun turn signal stock functioned. Now there's 3 wires, 1 input wire and 2 outputs. When you flip up the turn signal, it connects the input to one of the output wires, and when you put it down, it connects it to the other output wires. So I ran wires from the turn signal stock into the flashers, and from the flashers into the relays. Let's listen to the sweet sound of clicking relays. I did it! What the? Oh, I know what's going on. I didn't put a fuse in it. Hey! Sorry, that's supposed to be the left blinker and it's the right blinker. So I mixed some wire up, so I'll undo that, then we'll be all good. From bright to dim, and it's the left one. Let's go! Wiring is so much fun. I love it. I hate it, but I love it. Now, just gotta run the wire for the right blinker. And connect these top rear lights. So I finished up all the lighting. I went ahead and cleaned up the wiring a little bit. It's by no means finished because there's a lot of stuff we still have to wire in, but I just got it to a point where if we drive it, it's not getting in our way of our feet and such. Lights look awesome. Everything's working great. The blinkers, I'm really I'm really happy with the results. And now, the Datsun is a custom 2-cylinder Miata engine. Whoa, that did a lot. Oh, okay, all right, yeah. Oh, Whoa, whoa. So yeah, as you see there, it is running on 1 and 4. 2 and 3, cylinder 2 and 3 are not firing. Now we've had this issue, it's just been the weirdest issue. When we first got the car, ran great, right? And then after running it a couple times, after driving a little bit, it started to misfire once it warmed up. So, you know, it'd run perfect when you first started up, and then once it warmed up, it'd start misfiring. Then it got to the point where it was just always misfiring. 24/7, turn it on, misfires, and then it got to a point where it wouldn't run. So I went ahead and replaced the coil pack, and that seemed to fix it. You know, when we first put the new coil pack in, it was running great, and then after driving a little bit again, started misfiring. Only when it got warm though. Then it started misfiring when you first started up, and then it got to the point where it just wouldn't run at all. And I figured out that the coil pack is really, really, really hot, which is weird. I don't know if it's supposed to be hot or not, but doesn't seem like it. Saw a couple of the main fuses were a little corroded, so I replaced those, and it's still running on 2 cylinders. So I don't really know what's going on, but I think there's some either, maybe it was the relays, or maybe there's a wiring issue that causes the coil packs to get really hot and fry themselves. So thankfully the coil pack we bought has a warranty. We're gonna replace it, and I'm hoping it won't go bad again because the relays are nice. Previous owner put the engine in, put the ECU in, put all the wiring in, and he cut a lot of things and he unwrapped it, so it's a mystery. And I really hope it's not a wiring issue, because that could be a rabbit hole that has no bottom, and I don't feel like dealing with that. So hopefully just getting a new coil pack now that it's got new relays and fuses fixes it. If not, we're gonna have to figure it out. And I did check to make sure it was spark. You know, when it started doing this, I pulled out cylinder 2 and 3 of the spark plug, no spark. I know a lot of you guys have Miatas, so if any of you all have had a similar issue and you know what it is, let me know. So now, let's find out what's in the box. I guess we just start with one and figure out what it is. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's pretty cool. Ooh.
Man, look at that.
And it's even got a odometer too, which is nice.
Wow.
So you'll track how many miles you put on the car. So we purchased those gauges for the Datsun from Autometer. Instead of trying to use the old original Datsun gauges, which we did have, I decided just to get new standalone gauges, trying to get the old Datsun gauges to communicate with the stock Miata sensors. In my opinion, would have been a nightmare. Maybe it would have been really easy, but to me, it seems much easier just following instructions, installing separate sensors with their own gauges. So that's what we're doing in the next video with the Datsun. We're gonna install those gauges, hopefully figure out that misfiring issue. We're gonna drive it some more. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's kind of all over the place. That's what happens when you try to wire. I hate making wiring videos. Hopefully you did enjoy it nonetheless. The Datsun looks awesome with the new lights. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to give it a like. If you didn't enjoy it, please make sure to give it a dislike. But please tell me why you disliked the video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Have a great day. Bye-bye.